Today, I thought I'd talk about some of my favorite books. I have them laying over here with me. Just so you guys can kind of get to feel my reading taste. These are old favorites, new favorites. It's a mix of just everything. So I thought I'd start with my all-time favorite series. Like, this is my favorite. So that series is the Moreland Strength series by Cassie Clare. This is a series about Shadowhunters, and I'm sure a lot of people know what this is about already. It's a very popular series, but I have, if I get this thing to move, this whole entire shelf is dedicated to Cassandra Clare, besides like the bottom. But this whole shelf is dedicated to Cassandra Clare. Like I said, she is my favorite author. I read every single one of her series, the spin-offs, all of that. This series is about a group of people called Shadowhunters. They hunt demons, werewolves, all that in the whole magical community. And it's about Clary Frey discovering that she is a Shadowhunter. I love it. I love the characters. I love this edition that I have. It has pictures, like drawn fan art, gold sprayed edges. But I love this series. I want to get a tattoo for this series because it is literally my favorite series ever. And I could go on and on and on about it. The next book I'm going to talk about is wide known. It's a very popular series. If you don't know it, where you been type situation. It's Mr. Harry Potter. So this is a childhood favorite. I discovered Harry Potter at 7 years old. Love it. Still love it to this day. Will always be a Harry Potter fan. Don't agree with J.K. Rowling, but I love these books. I'm a Ravenclaw. Same thing. I'm not going to give you synopsis. Everyone should basically know what Harry Potter is about, the boy who lived. But I vividly remember, and like, I could read these when I was younger. Like I said, I found this when I was 7. But my mom would read these with me. We'd read like a chapter a night. These were like my bedtime stories. She'd struggle reading Hagrid's dialogue because of his accent. But I love Harry Potter. Love, love, love it. I have the whole series. I have these in paperback that are worn. Worn from reading them so much when I was younger. I have hardcover in like the trunk. I have the illustrated editions. Like, love this. Will always be a favorite. Next series. I don't feel like it's a popular like series. Like, it's not well known. The Marked series by P.C. Cast and Kristen Cast. So this is an older series. My mom had these. These are her copies. I have the whole series. It's a vampire book. And basically there's these group of people called They're Marked. And they're vampires. So they go to this special school. I forget what it's even called. Well, it's the House of Night series. I call it the Marked series. The House of Night series. They go to the House of Night. And I read these, I want to say my junior or senior year of high school. And I devoured these. I was reading like a book a night. Like, me and mom and dad were watching a show together, and I would sit in our recliner, read these. I'd fall asleep reading these because these are so good. I love Zoe. I love like all her little friend group. They're just great books. And they're a nice little vampire book because there's not that many. And I love my vampire books. So if you haven't read them, highly suggest it. Series I know is probably going to be something that people are like, oh my god, why, da da da. But you know what? This was my first deep dive into like smutty books. I read on Wattpad, but like actual books that were like smutty. And that would be The After series by Anna Todd. So this series is about Tessa and Hardin. Tessa's always been the good girl, da da da, like, you know, that whole trope. She goes to college, meets Hardin, and things ensue from there. And I've read this whole series multiple times again. Completely, like, bent. I have other copies of it down there. I've read Landon's books. I love this series. And yes, I know it was Harry Styles fan fiction. Y'all can come at me. But I love, love, love this series. I can talk about it forever. These are like the only books by Anna Todd that I've read. Listen, I know it's not the best writing, but love me some After. would do a reread. Another older series, but a good one, is Red Queen. So I read these my sophomore year of high school. Read the whole series, devoured it, ordered special editions. I had this originally from Scholastic in a soft cover, and I ordered, because I had the rest of the series in hardcover, I ordered this in hardcover, Red Queen, because I loved it so much. So in this world, there is red, like people who have red blood, and people who have silver blood. And if you have silver blood, you're considered like regal. You have all these powers, da-da-da. But, what's her name again? Mare. Mare's a red and then finds out she has powers. And it's so good. I don't even know how to describe it. I devoured it. And I know I keep saying I devoured these books, but literally devoured this series my sophomore year of high school. Could not put it down. And it still is one of my favorites to this day. Love her. Mwah. This next series, I don't hear a lot of people talk about this. There used to be a girl, I can't remember her name, but I used to watch her here on YouTube. And she loved this series. I can't find her channel again. I think she was Australian. But Maximum Ride. So this series by James Patterson is about this group of kids, and like the main character is Maximum, and they are 98% bird and like 2% no, back that up. 2% 2% bird, 98% human. And like they were test tube babies. And this series, these cast of characters, just everything about this is so good, and it's action-packed, and it just draws you in, and you can't put it down. Like, I read these back, well, for one, they were hard to find. Like, my mom had to order these for me. But I read these so fast. I just remember loving the world, and there was twists and turns and everything else. And they all have some type of, like, some of them have, like, special abilities. And it's just so good, and I love it. So, highly, highly recommend. In the next book, I have The Deal by Elle Kennedy. So this is her off-campus series, but I love her Briar U series, her spinoff series, all these books. So these are hockey romance books. This one is about Hannah Wells, or Wellesley, and Garrett Graham, and he needs her to tutor her. He needs her to tutor him, and so he can stay playing. And then they end up like fake dating so she can make someone jealous. But instead, she makes him jealous when she starts flirting with these other guys. And he realizes, oh shit, I really like her. So I love these books. I love series that are interconnected. And they follow different like characters, each one, but they're in a friend group. Those are my favorite. This was like my first hockey romance. I just love it so much. Could not recommend more. Will always recommend these. Can't wait for the next book in the last spinoff. The Charlie Method, I think is what it's called. I can't wait for that one. My next series is The Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. Say what you want. I love these books. Will Grayson III, my favorite man. He's my favorite from this whole series. And this one's about Erica and Michael. But this series is about like this friend group. Again, follows a friend group. And the night before Halloween, so October 30th, is Devil's Night. That's what they call it. And they go out, they pull pranks, pull these shenanigans, and these bounce from like when they were younger to like them as adults. And I just love them so much. And this whole series, this whole world, like I have a crew neck that's like Devil's Night. Love it. Could not rave about this enough. Okay. My next book is a standalone. It's by Penelope Douglas as well. Credence. Y'all can judge. I don't care. Everybody's getting love in this book. Listen, they all get snowed in. Everybody comes. I don't care. I love it. So basically, what's her name? Tiernan has to go and live with her parents die. And she has to go and live with her step-uncle and her step-cousins in, like, Colorado. I don't remember where that. I just remember reading this. I was reading this while I was subbing, okay? So that gets kind of awkward. But no one knew what I was reading unless you went and Googled it. But I loved it. It was so good. It was smutty. It's going to be smutty. It's P. Douglas. What do you expect? But wonderful. And if you want a little, if you're into that, I'm not into that personally, but also it was too damn good. What can I say? Girls likes what girls like. The next book is Verity. Listen, I don't like Colleen, like I've read all of Colleen Hoover's books. I have all her books. But this is the only book that I actually genuinely enjoy. The twists, the turns, this feels like it was ghostwritten. Listen, all these books, she controversial. I'm not the biggest fan. I just have all her books. But this one, loved it. I read this in literally a day. So basically, Lowen is going as an author. She's a writer. But she ends up getting, I guess, what's the word? She accepts a job to be a ghostwriter for Verity. Because she's like in a coma, She ends up falling in love with Verity's husband, Jeremy. And you just have to read it. It's so good. I love it. Like, this keeps me up at night. And if you have read it, are you team manuscript or team letter? Let me know down in the comments below. The next book I want to talk about is 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott, Mickey Daughtry, and Tobias Ianconis. So this book is about these 2 teens who have cystic fibrosis. I think her name's Stella. Yeah. Her name's Stella and Will. And they have to stay 5 feet apart because they both have CF. They can make each other sicker. I read this years ago. And I watched the movie and I loved it. I originally saw the trailer for the movie. I'm like, oh, it's a book. I want to read the book. And listen, I love this. It makes me cry. The movie makes me cry. And they take, like, their little, it's supposed to be 6 feet. But they take, like, their 1 foot of space being near each other. So it's the size of a pool cue. And it's just a very heartwarming, make you cry, good time romance. I love it. My next book to talk about is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. So this book is set in Germany, in Nazi Germany in 1939. And it's about Liesel. And she goes to, like, this foster family. And they teach her how to read. And it's about her being this accordion player. Well, she has an accordion player for her foster father. And this Jewish man, they're hiding in their basement because it's Nazi Germany. And when I tell you, I loved the movie when I was younger. And when I got older and I was able to read the book, love this book. I was about to go to work when I finished this. And I was literally sitting on my couch, bawling my eyes out because of this book. I cannot get enough praise. I have like 2 copies of it. It's amazing. That's all I can say. It's beautifully written. And I love it. And I know I keep saying I love all these books, but genuinely, all these books make me feel so good, and I love all these books. The next book I have is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. So this is a classic, and it's about Ponyboy Curtis and, like, their gang. And the Socs and the Greasers. Like, this has different quotes in it. It's the 50th anniversary edition. We read this in class my sophomore year of high school. I had already read this, like, freshman or 8th grade year myself, and I loved it so much, and I can't rave enough about it. It's beautiful. The fact she wrote this when she was, like, what, 13? Something like that, and she was 14. 13 or 14. And she wrote this beautiful novel, and it's so good. Like, it's so short, but it's so good. It's so impactful, and I can't get enough of it at all. So, if you ever need a good classic, read this one. Next book I have is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. So this book is about Henry and Alex. And Henry is the Prince of England. And Alex is the son to the first female president of the United States. And they have, like, a whole rivalry going on between them until they have to pretend to be friends. Because they, like, knock over a cake at, I think, the royal wedding. Anyway, so they're, like, enemies, whatever, and they have to pretend to be friends. And that friendship turns into a relationship, and the story was so cute. I love it so much. I literally got this from Book of the Month, because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to read this. And it's so good and so adorable, and I just love their relationship. I haven't got to watch the show, because I don't have Amazon. But I love this book and could not get enough of it. I think I read this in, like, a few days, honestly. Like, I'm a fast reader normally, but if something really gets me in, I can get something done in a day, especially like this. So, loved it. Mwah. The last book I'm going to talk about is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is the Book of the Month edition. I have a paperback version. So this book is about Evelyn Hugo. She's a Hollywood icon. Like, Marilyn Monroe type shit. And she hires, what's her name again? I suck at remembering names. Monique. To write, like, her memoir and, like, reveal all of her, like, about her story and her 7 husbands. And let me tell you, I was in a slump. Like, deep in the trenches in a slump. And when I tell you, this book, my mom read it, and then she's like, Whitley, you need to read this. And I'm like, listen. Okay. So I read it, and it pulled my ass out of the trenches, said, you're going to love me, and it's one of my favorites. I have 2 copies of this Book of the Month cover, because look at it. It's gorgeous. And then I have the original cover as well. But love her. Cannot rave enough. Read her. That's all I have to say. Read her. Read any of these books. They are so good. Love it. So that is all for my video today. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you you can like, comment, subscribe. I hope you decide to subscribe and see more bookish content from me. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day.